change it first of all,
That's not going to work, councillor. You're here now, you're stuck.
yeah, well, actually, I usually carry one on my bag, huh? No.
Somewhat late. No, I'm waiting on, and I'm not rushing in the ladies.
Yes, sorry,
Because we're
everyone.
live streaming.
Oh, right.
And because we kept the meeting.
Do you understand? I'm going to do the motion when we go through. I'll give it to you now so you can read it. And you'll know what's going on. Yeah, someone's got a problem with it.
Right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the annual general meeting of Electors, Tuesday the 18th of February 2025. Attendances and apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Skender and
Oh, council, yeah, they don't need to read them out.
no. And we have Councillor Adam Cottrell on Teams. So with that confirmation of the minutes of the annual general meeting of Electors on the 16th of February 2024. Could I have a mover for that, please? Councillor Kelly, Councillor Farina. Councillors, is there any debate, discussion on that? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously, 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Hill. Public question time. Mr. Lionel?
Good.
Thank you.
There's a couple of questions, Mr. President. They relate to item 16 on valuations for the budget. I note in 2023, the infrastructure levy system, the valuation was 13.1 million. It's been revalued this year and it now has jumped up an additional 13.9 million, so the valuation placed on the levy system is 17 million. That's a jump of 4 million this year. Can you tell me how we just suddenly jumped up 4 million on the valuations?
Through the chair, we will need to take that on notice. My understanding
Okay.
is there has been an increase in cost to rebuild. Like we're sort of aware that fuel, materials, etc. We have been seeing a considerable increase in all of our quoting to date. But I will take that on notice and we'll get that back to you. We'll need to go to...
Okay, no problem. Last time I suggested a bit of creative accounting, but I think it's pretty serious.
It's a fair value.
Indeed, I think the quantity of 17 million for the levies is a gross understatement of what the levies are worth. And there's two sides that I think on. If Carnarvon is unfortunate enough to have a disaster with either a flood river or a tidal surge, the value of the levy to replace it is way above the amount that you've got here. Might I suggest that the council look at the number of levies that it's got from the South Ward, which is the flood levy, around to the Seine, Morgantown and the various others, and list those particular levies as a replacement value, what was considered a realistic replacement value. But in addition, the area that they cover, So in the case of Morgantown, if the value of the levy system in that area comes out at $10 million, we look at the assets that are behind the levy, the houses and what have you, so it's protecting an asset value of probably well in excess of 100 million. And the same out in the river area, we look at the damage that might happen when a levy bank breaks there. The reason for thinking this way is ultimately you go to the government and say, this is the problem we've got. The levy's been washed away. This is the value that that levy was last valued at. And we've got a hole in it that's half a mile long. You have some substance to go and ask for a handout. As it stands at the moment, you're pushing uphill a bit. That was the first question. The other question relates to unpaid rates. I see here on item 21 that, where are we? Trade and payables, sorry. Item 21. There's a total of 1.4 million outstanding in unpaid rates that have accumulated over a period of time. That's a pretty substantial figure.
Don't believe this. How much?
What
did you
action
say?
is the council taking to do that?
Is it? Did you say there's an outstanding amount
It says
of
here.
4.4?
Item 21, the amount you're carrying, where are we? Less than 1 year is 700,000. When we get down, add them up to the number of years that go past more than 3 years, the total adds up to 1.4 million. So,
yes,
yeah,
through the
it's spread over a
chair,
period of time.
through the chair, we do carry considerable rates. We have had a number of bankruptcies and foreclosures, and the process is that we need to either apply to the court to allocate how much would be the Shire's return if we were to sell the property. And so at the moment, we actually have 5 properties that would be considerable and would make up the remainder from that 700 in determination by the court or about to go to sale. So we are recouping the money, but unfortunately it is a timely legal procedure, and there you will see a number. One's about to be advertised in the next 4 weeks, and that's been 3 years coming to fruition. So the Local Government Act has a very set out process that takes time through the courts. Mr. Dunn.
Might I suggest that a footnote that you just say $750,000 currently under court action?
That is a statutory document, and it doesn't allow us to make that statement in that statutory review.
I'll leave it.
Which is another reason why we have the AGM, so people can come and ask their
Yeah,
questions.
I appreciate the question.
Which is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you?
Okay, I'll come back to you later.
So with that, councillors, going to item 4.1, the receiving of the annual report at the meeting. So can I have a mover, please, at the officer's recommendation on the annual report? Councillor Kelly. Councillor Vanderland. Councillors, is there any debate or discussion on that motion? There's no debate and discussion? Okay, councillors, well, that's the Councillor Cottrell, you're okay? Thank you. That's adopted unanimously, Mrs Hill, 7-0. And councillors, I do have a late motion, item 5, sorry, general business as permitted by Shire President. I do have a notice of motion from Mr Donald. Mr Donald, would you like to put forward your motion?
I've submitted a motion to the President, I don't know how many councillors drive around our town and have a look, a serious look at where our town's going. We're losing people, we're losing businesses, and it's not a bright outlook. I don't have to tell you what you already know from around the place. I've submitted a motion and it reads, point 1, CEO to arrange for a suitable passenger vehicle to accommodate all councillors and CO for a daytime tour inspection on several areas of Carnarvon town site in the near future. In short, a town inspection. Point 2, specific areas to be of particular interest are streets of Morgantown and Brockman for viewing the best and worst street frontages. Point 3, Council take particular notice of the many substantial iron white fences that too many property owners have found it necessary to erect to protect their life-saving properties. That was the end of the motion. But I've attached a footnote. Most property owners enjoy displaying the front of their houses and gardens. It's a sad day when property owner needs to enclose to the extreme fence permitted under our local bylaws to afford a degree of security. We need a town where people want to live, not one where we prefer not to be. Council has a wide variety of powers under the Act and Council's own bylaws to clean up what I believe that a rapid, desirable change is occurring in our town. I think if councillors have a look.
Do you want to just wait, Mr. Donald? I'll ask for a second of that motion and then you can go. Thank you, Councillor Dudley Mazel, a second of that motion. Do you wish to speak to that motion?
Yeah, I could go on for a long time and I can write for press and various other people. I can take some of the glossy pictures out of your book and I can counter all those pictures with a spread of what the town is. So nobody benefits from those sort of things. Council is able to go around and look at places and readily see what's strewn around the place is a cyclone problem. It can send it healthy around. He's only going to find 2 or 3 bits of mice or rat droppings, and he's enough to issue an order for vermin problems, rodents and what have you. Those orders are no good. Waste of time putting them on the tenant or state housing places. They have to go to the landlord, state housing, whatever, and put state housing on notice. It's unacceptable for this town, and indeed for property owners. But for anyone coming to the town and drive around the streets and the tourists and having a look, and they take a look at these places, it's not the most inviting. To your point.
Thank you. Councillors, are there sort of community and councillors? Are there any speakers against the motion? Are there any further speakers for the motion?
I speak for the motion in support of Mr. Diamond's observation and motion put to councillors. Actually, you echoing my fellow councillor Marco Farina. He's very passionately wants us to all get on the bus, as it were, and go and as a town inspection collectively. So it's definitely on the cards, and we appreciate you putting it forward in your observations today. So urge council to support Mr. Diamond's motion as put.
Thank you, Councillor Burke. Councillor Louise, is there any speakers against the motion? Are there any further speakers for the motion?
I'll speak for the motion, and thanks to Mr. Diamond for putting that motion forward. I might just request that when Mr. Diamond closes the debate, which I'll be supporting, if you can just speak to some of the things specifically that you would like the council to do, because I understand I've got the same, that I and the other councillors have the same optics of the problems that you're seeing as well, but just from the context of exactly how you think the council can tackle that. I'd be interested to hear that also, because whether it's through things like if the fences are unattractive, should they then not be permitted under the building code or things like that, just how specifically how you think council might be able to influence the direction the town's going in with regard to that issue. That'd be appreciated, but I support the motion.
Councillor, Sorry, is there any speakers against the motion? There being no speakers against the motion, would you like to close the debate, Mr. Dolan?
Yeah, I will. I don't think it's right for me to come up to council and say, hey, you should do your job. This is your job. You have enough officers here. And if you haven't got them, bring them up from Geraldton. But they need to have a discussion before they start so that you outline the objective. It's not the colour of the fence. It's the fact that people are having to do this. And the fact that you've got to put up a tin fence this high with bloody great gates on the thing and a dog inside it. I mean, this is heading for Soweto. It's just not on. And if you put a fence up because you're down the front here and it's a roaring gale, there's a good reason for it. But to protect your property, I just think it's unreasonable. And council is not going to get help from people in these places. It's going to be a difficult job. But I think it's necessary that you start, and I think you need to start quite heavy for the message to get through. I'm most of the debate on those notes.
Thank you, Mr. Dolan. Without further ado, councillors, all those in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous, Mrs. Kelly. So councillors, with that, and thank you, Mr. Dolan, for coming. Without further ado, meeting's closed. I can assure you, our new CEO made it clear to me